study, watch the film, evaluate it. You felt pretty good after the game Saturday. How do you feel having watched it?
I really haven't. I went to that little fundraiser down in Florida. I was with Jack Nicklaus, so I actually didn't get to really study it. I watched it real quick. I'm going to watch it again this week. Started with player evaluation meetings, arguably the most important off-season. We just had a law staff meeting. Most important off-season. Really thankful to our crowd to see some of these players play in those kind of conditions, environment, which crowds there. And some guys really stepped up. I thought Damon Arnett did good. He's got to play for us. And Malik Hooker was a guy that was a no-name. Now all of a sudden he'll make 2 interceptions in that game. Paris Campbell, Terry McLaurin did really well. So,
Urban, how did those player evaluation? I know there's some things that you keep private, but how do those generally work?
Well, it's good, yeah, I'll tell you the whole way it works. So when I'm gone Monday and Tuesday, they had player meetings for the coaches. It's a real standardized form. And they grade themselves 1 through 5, and the coach grades them 1 through 5. And then you add up the scores, and if it's a bad score, like a no bowl game or low-level bowl game, mid-level national champion, and there's pretty. I change a little bit each year. It's pretty accurate. A guy that I think the numbers 90 to 100 is you're a major, college football playoff, national championship type player, and that's a guy that handles because we do it academically, socially, and athletically. So it's pretty detailed.
When they get to your desk or sitting down with you, is there much that they can offer at that point, or is that just here it is?
No, it's very here it is, because the worst thing you can do is have very mixed messages sent to them. And I think that's what's wrong. That's why we try to get the parents involved too. We have a mandatory parent meeting on Saturday at 9:30, and I want their kid them to know if their kid's in blue, get out of blue. And it's not our job, it's your job as a parent. We'll work together with it. But I think too often sometimes here, I'll give you this kid, you guys go handle it. No, that's not the way it works. We work together, and there's some great examples over the years of parents that have been outstanding helping us, because every young person at one point hits some speed bumps. But I think alignment, that's why we try to be as transparent as possible. Some people don't like that. Some people have a hard time dealing with it, being told you're not very good, or here's what you need to work on, or what's acceptable in the classroom off the field. But that's not our concern if you like it or not. It's just to be honest, and we see great, Corey Lindsey comes to mind, and Reed Fragel, with great transitional stories of guys that were lost for 3 or 4 years and they came back. And usually it's because the parents dive knee deep in it. Michael Thomas, there's no chance that happened without Keyshawn Johnson and his father. And it wasn't very uncomfortable meetings, but they're very honest.
Who's somebody on this team who has moved into the 90 to 100 that wasn't there?
Well, Malik, I don't know if he's 90. He's not there yet. He's headed in that direction.
Your mind, yeah.
Oh, good question. Obviously, you got Billy Price, Pat Elfline. Chris Riley is a guy that's really stepped up to be trusted by his coaches. He's elite right now. I'm trying to think who else. Oh, Jamarco Jones got the nod. He's a starting left tackle at Ohio State. Right now, set today with the team. And they all clap for him. We're going to call his mother tonight. There's other guys that are really close to getting that phone call as well.
Urban, is Michael Jordan are you surprised by how well he stepped? I mean, and where does he kind of sit now as you leave the spring? I mean, is he definitely in the picture, or?
Well, I've had one lineman come in that really plays a freshman start. His name is Marquise Pouncey. He came in, he just was different, so mature, so strong. Was a freshman All-American for us, and he was a number 7, 8, 10 player picked in the draft after his junior year. But that's a unique guy. Michael Jordan right now, he's running with the ones. I hope you're not in that situation. We have a junior college player coming in June that'll may stir up things a little bit. The line is not set, but Michael Jordan will play for us this year.
But why will he play? What is it that just catches your eye?
Tough as nails, smart, real serious. I mean, I could go on and on. He's raised the right way. Comes from a really good high school program, well coached, and just a genuine guy. I mean, goes about his business like a pro.
You said you wanted 100,000 because you want to see the way these guys are reacting. A very young team. Was there anyone you learned good or bad things that looked different in front of the crowd than you see in practice?
Yeah, Malik was one that I thought just his, we call it routine around here, his routine, the way he prepared. I thought Mike Weber, I watched him closely, because are we really going to handle the ball next year in front of 100 and some thousand people? Briante Dunn, I saw him prepare himself the right way. So instead of going through a list of 20 guys, it was very positive. I can't think of any negatives off the top of my head where guys locked up or, but I thought they, if you walk through the facility all day on Friday, it was all about the routine. Where do you go to sleep? Get your rest, hydrate, take care of your bodies, and our players did a good job.
Stupid question, Urban, but you said it was a mandatory parents meeting. How does
Yeah.
that work? If, like, John Doe's parent doesn't show up, do you make him run stairs, or?
Push-ups and study table and all that stuff. No, I just call it just FO with the parents is mandatory, and then we'll actually send out an email to the ones that didn't come saying, why'd you miss? I don't understand that. How do you miss a meeting when you're talking about your kid and his future and what's going on? But if people have family obligations too. We weren't able to go to my daughter's events all the time. Shelley was pretty close. But I like having fun with the parents too, and it is mandatory.
Last year, you guys were battling contentment. What was the mental challenge this year, and did you clear that hurdle this spring?
Very good question, and then the challenge was, are we good enough to go play and not? We've played at a very high level for 2 years now. Are we going to drop? And very pleased with the way it ended. It was nasty the first week and a half. Not very impressive, but I think the way the clinic, there's been some great things happening here. The clinic we had to recognize Ohio's finest, and it's just a great turnout, and say thank you to high school coaches. Then you have the recruiting involved with what's been going on. Recruiting around here has been really good. Then you have these group of players that are getting ready for the NFL draft and pro day and just so many great things, and then all of a sudden you jog out in front of 100 and some thousand people. It's a really special place right now. A lot of momentum at Ohio State. We can't lose it because we lost some good players.
How close would you be to being able to do a depth chart?
Not close. Let me be close, but I'm not going to do that for a while because I need time to digest it.
Urban, after the spring game, Joe Burrow was talking about how his arm strength is not quite where he wants it, and you voiced concerns about that. JT had the same problem when he came in, and you guys fixed that. When you're recruiting quarterbacks, and I know when you're recruiting any position with the best of the best, you want good athletes, guys like that. Why is it okay to not have a quarterback with the greatest arm strength when he comes in?
Well, that's another good question. I'm going to give you exactly what we look for. Every great quarterback, the ones that we've had great ones. The number one characteristic is competitive spirit. Number two is toughness. Number three is the ability to lead. Number four is intelligence. And then number five is extend the play. Notice I never said anything about arm strength, delivery. A lot of people said Tim Tebow couldn't play quarterback. He was second leading passer in history of college football. A lot of people, believe it or not, said Cam Newton couldn't play. But he had the other intangibles about the competitive spirit. And in that position, you have to be, because everyone's looking at you. So you will take the Joey Burrow, who was I think damn near a state champion of basketball. I think a runner-up in football, if I remember right. Just that was what set him apart as a competitor. And because we've all seen what happens to the really skilled guy without the competitive spirit. It's awful. And not only that, but it also destroys your team, because that position you have to have a competitor.
Urban, as you're getting ready for the draft here, I know you'll plan to be in Chicago next week. Looks like Joey is the highest projected guy of your class that'll be going there. In your conversations with a lot of scouts and a lot of coaches, what do they ask you about Joey that maybe isn't, like you're talking about, like an intangible thing? What are some of the things that they want to know specifically about him?
A lot of the questions, how they practice, are they pros, do they handle their business? Because the CBA came out, and I'm not an expert at this at all, but there's so much time away from on their own. So how do they train on their own? Are they serious about taking care of themselves? Because from what I understand, there's months where you can't have communication with your coaches, or certainly not go lift weights and be there. So that's the number one question I get all. But I know it's one thing that's been changing. One time I heard Joey wasn't going as early. Now he's early. But I told our players too that every time I say, I go, "Where are you going?" And I look at him, I go, "You know what good thing? You have no idea, and neither do I, because you don't." And it's going to be interesting. I'm really excited for those guys.
Yeah, what is that experience, or maybe that night, the 3 nights? How valuable is that for you guys moving forward? Do you think
3 nights.
the draft? I mean, you guys have
How
been pumping it
valuable
up
for
for a
us?
couple of months, but
No, there's no value at all to us. They're all gone.
So you won't be using that as a recruiting tool, I guess?
Oh, no, I think we're gonna actually have someone there. Mark was telling me that we're gonna have someone there that's gonna track guys, and you absolutely, we're gonna use that for recruiting. It's just, and who they are, and they're all back. It's funny, and you guys know this as well as I do, just look around and see who comes back. It's the guys that had a great experience here, they're proud to be associated with Ohio State, they love Ohio State. The guys that don't come around are the ones that usually were part of a bad team or had some issues take place. So to see that whole group, they're all over the place, and there's nothing better.
Urban, when you say that you're going to have somebody there tracking them, what do you mean? They're going to like take pictures and put together recruiting
I'm not
stuff,
quite
or
sure.
what does that
Yeah,
mean?
A lot of recruiting stuff, and we're pretty creative around here, and I don't even know what their Mark's going to do. Imagine video would be involved.
As you take the pulse
Twitter and
of it,
video.
is there one guy that you think is going to surprise?
The draft?
Yeah, in the draft. I mean, and by that I mean just be taken in the third round.
There's
to
someone
the
maybe
fifth.
who got hammering. Well, he doesn't take
Yeah,
all
I
of
know.
the other
I know.
guys.
Yeah. I was trying to ask.
I am
you-
going to
yeah.
say something about Cardell that try to avoid even reading stuff, especially stuff from people that don't know or in here. I love Cardell. Cardell's great. Cardell is a very talented guy, and my message was when someone asked me about the school part, he struggled in school a little bit, but he's very intelligent was my point. And the fact that college football and pro football, the big difference is college football is you better budget your time, and some guys just aren't very good at that. Some guys, I've had plenty of them, and they turned out to be fine NFL football players. So that was the intent. There's no malicious thoughts towards Cardell, and I'd love to get my hands on it. Well, I shouldn't say that.
You get more trouble.
There's no ill will intent. We love Cardell, and we hope. I think Cardell will make it in the NFL. And he is a relationship guy up also, and that makes him, that's a negative comment. Once again, I like to meet these people that write that crap, because they don't know what they're talking about.
Past that, have you gotten any indication now, you may not have even gotten into it yet, that there will be any kind of like addendum, or whatever you want to call it, to the rule where like MAC teams can show up here and work y'all's camp?
I think
mean,
that's in the process.
It's in the process?
I think we're having a conference call come up here, and I don't know that I'm going to have enough time, but
Yeah.
I'll look at it today. I hope that happens. Not so much for us to go elsewhere, but to let the non-Power 5 get in here and do their jobs,
Yeah.
because they need to do that.
Have you continued to kind of like light that fire since we
I haven't
spoke with you?
No, I think that's going to be coming up here next couple of weeks.
What does Isaiah Prince need to do to win the right tackle job? You
He's
mentioned
very
Jamarco.
close. Yeah, he's very close. He just has to grow up a little bit. He did. He had a very good spring, so it's very close. He's just not quite where Jamarco Jones is at.
Erwin, as you look at your quarterback situation coming out of the spring, do you already have Dwayne Haskins Jr. in your thoughts?
Yes.
And why is that? I mean, what is it that you think he can handle coming in here and possibly competing for
Well,
a
I've known
backup
Dwayne
job?
for 3 years. I sat and watched him work out. He was training at a facility, and I got to physically watch it. Some of these kids I don't get to physically watch. I saw him in camp, although he was very young, and his skill set's really good. His film is really good, and I'm hoping he gets right in the middle of that thing.
Urban, you brought up Dwayne on signing day, and you said that there was a coach that worked with him that you thought
Yeah.
was the instrumental reason
Fantastic
why.
coach.
What did that guy do, and how advanced is Dwayne as a result of it coming in here?
Well, he talks to Coach Beck quite often now. He's that good. His name's Bryson is his first name.
Yeah.
I can't remember his last name. I think we're going to try to get him in our camps because I just love his drill work. We're studying it, and he's one of the best I've ever been around. Because I got to see it firsthand, and sometimes you watch guys do these incredible drills, and then you turn on the video and it looks nothing like that. So that doesn't mean that means he's a poor teacher. He presents, but he doesn't teach. This guy's outstanding.
I saw that he was at the spring game, and I didn't know if this is like something that he could do at the next level, because sometimes high school coaches
Sure.
do some things,
I
and then
think he
you say
could.
something like that, next thing you know.
I'm still getting to know him, but I certainly think I don't know about recruiting and all the other stuff.
course.
But as far as teaching quarterback play, he certainly could.
You guys had a lot of sacks at the spring game, granted a couple of